What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Fitment Industries Garage, and we are here today with yet another episode of What Wheels Fit, because there are just hundreds and hundreds of cars out there that people need to know what wheels fit for. So that's what we do. We go over all different types of wheel, tire, and suspension setups for different vehicles to help you guys out in your journey to find a new setup for your car. I'm Jels from Fitment Industries, and today we are going to be going over one of the Euro hot hatches from the early 2000s that have just stolen everyone's hearts, including Dakota's as of recently. That's right, we're going to be going over the Mark IV Volkswagen GTI. Before we go ahead and get right into it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some of the other videos that we have right here on the Fitment Industries Garage channel. And of course, once you're done watching this video and know what wheels, tires, suspension are going to fit your Mark IV, don't forget to hit up fitmentindustries.com, where we have a ton of options for those cars. I mean, literally just an absolute ton. We try to make this as simple and as straightforward as we possibly can. Picking out wheels for your car is a huge deal, and it's definitely part of your car that you want to get right the first time. So what we're going to do is take a look at some of the GTIs sitting in the Fitment Industries gallery right now over at fitmentindustries.com and go over the different suspension, wheel, and tire setups that all these cars are running, and give a first-hand example as to like what exactly these cars look like and if there's any fitment issues with certain setups or not. So let's just get right into it. First things first, these cars are running a 5x100 bolt pattern, and I know the older ones do run that 5x100, and then they switch to like a 5x112 as of recently, but 5x100, that's what we're looking for. And we have a recommended size range of 16 to 18 inches for the diameter, 6.5 to 9.5 inches for the width, and an offset landing around +40 to +20. So like normal, a pretty decent range here as far as different sizes and fitment goes. For these cars, there isn't a huge variation on what a lot of people run for sizes. In reality, it's really just comes down to about an inch or a half inch in difference in the width, and then difference in the offset and the tire size. It's really depending on what kind like stance you're looking to get with the car. For the most part, a lot of people are running a pretty aggressive setup, as any good GTI should be. So what we're gonna do is just show some examples and go over their setups, kind of order them the best that we can from the least aggressive to the most aggressive as we go on here. So all that being said, let's take a look at the first car of the day, which is a 2002 with some BBS RC wheels. Now these are 18 by 8.5 for the size and a +38 for the offset. These BBSs are wrapped in some Nankang NS20 tires with a size of 225/40, and then for the suspension, we see this sitting on some Airlift Performance air suspension. Now, just a heads up here, like I did kind of mention before, about 90% of these cars are going to be running that 18 by 8.5 inch wheel. That's just how these cars work. There's really not a whole lot of variation there. Next up, we have a 2001 with some Rotiform BLQs, very popular wheel choice for these cars for most generations as well even. Now these are an 18 by 8.5 with a +35 offset, so getting a little more aggressive, just a few millimeters compared to our last one. And then for the tires, we have some Toyo Extenza HPs with a 225/40, and then sitting on Silver's coilovers for the suspension. If rotiforms aren't your thing, you can check out some 1552 wheels, as we see them quite a bit, just like this 2003 with some 1552 Tarmacs, 18 by 8.5 with a +35 offset, just like our last car, except this time we got some Dunlop tires, 215/40, and then sitting aired out on some Function and Form air suspension. The 18 by 8.5 +35 is pretty much a go-to for anyone who's looking for an aftermarket setup for these cars, and it gives a nice flush fitment with a little bit of stretch, and it works great for both static and air suspension cars. However, air suspension will typically run, you know, probably like a 1/4 inch spacer all around to help out, but they still go with the 18 by 8.5. However, there are a lot of people who like to get their fitment a little more dialed in without spacers and all that, and this is where we see the variation in the width and offset come into play. So let's go over some of those cars as well. So first up, we have a 2002 with some Volkswagen Form 9s. These are 18 by 9.5 with a +34 offset with a 205/35 tire, and then sitting on some Airlift Performance air suspension. Fender liners are removed to free up some room and all that kind of good stuff. Or we can take a look at this 2003 with some Rotiform BLQ T multi-piece wheels, 18 by 9.5 with a +35 offset and a 205/40 Nitto Neogen tire. And of course, this again is sitting on Airlift Performance air suspension. Running about -6 degrees of front and rear camber. Fenders are rolled as well. And then going into the last car we're going to take a look at today, it's going to be this 2005 with some Work Rivers, 18 by 9.5 with a +12 offset all around with some Federal all-season tires, 205/40, and then sitting, you guessed it, Airlift Performance air suspension. Mark IVs, Rotiforms, Airlift, good to go. Front fender liners are going to be cut and the fenders are rolled to get that setup to fit. However, that is a pretty aggressive setup. That's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this helped you guys out in your journey to find some new wheels, tires, suspension for your MK4 GTI. And once you have done so, make sure to upload it to the gallery or just check out the gallery if you need more help, because that's the massive tool that we use to get you guys all this information for all of these videos. Don't forget, wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. We'll see you guys later. Peace.